I'm delighted to be joined by Kilmacud Crokes footballer Shane Cunningham ahead of the AIB GAA All-Ireland Senior Football Championship final, which takes place this Sunday, January 22nd at Croke Park, 3:30 p.m. The AIB GAA All-Ireland Club Championships features some of the toughest players from communities all across Ireland. It's these very communities that the players represent that make up the AIB GAA All-Ireland Club, or make the AIB GAA Club All-Ireland Championships unique. Now in its 32nd year supporting the GAA Club Championships, AIB is extremely proud to once again celebrate the communities that play such a role in sustaining our national games. Shane, how are things with you?
Not so bad, not so bad.
Excited about the final on Sunday?
Oh yeah. Looking forward to it. It's obviously kind of a long week in the lead up to it, but we'll train our 2 nights this week, and then kind of hopefully the weekend can pass quickly enough.
Yeah, how did you get through Christmas before the semi-final?
I trained fairly hard over Christmas, to be honest. There was no kind of week off around Christmas, like with the semi-final on the 8th of January, I think it was. Like, you know, we couldn't afford to take a week off, so you were kind of wary of what you were eating, drinking, and the Christmas dinner, kind of the stuff that had to be taken out of it. But look, it was kind of what had to be done.
That's too big a price to be paid now, taking out the stuffing.
Look, hopefully it'll be worth it.
Yeah, so I mean, obviously it's been a long old season for you, and I suppose even last year went all the way to February, ended the way it did. But do you ever get tired of it, or are you fully motivated year on year?
Yeah, well, I suppose after the final last year, we were kind of given a good period of time off to kind of let the bodies heal and let the mind heal and kind of get fresh again. So I think that's definitely stood to us. And then kind of throughout the year as well, Robbie is very good at managing kind of the load of players. We have a good strength and conditioning coach with Chris Coburn there. So if anyone is kind of flagging with a small niggle or something, Robbie is very kind of conscious of that and kind of aware that it might be a long season. And he does kind of give lads a week off here and there. So I suppose it's all about managing players. I think Robbie's done that really well over the year, not just this year as well. It's been a kind of feature of his management.
Some of the games that you've played in recent times, they've been really tight going down to the last few minutes. Obviously the Kilcoo one, Nafina was pretty close. Even the last day out, you seemed to be home and hosed against Cairns O'Rahilly's, and then they made a bit of a comeback as well. You're not doing it the easy way.
No, we're not. I think if you go back to last year, there was many a game throughout the Dublin Championship, Leinster Championship, where we were behind in games. And this year as well, we have made it easy on our supporters. Or Robbie, I think Robbie actually he literally had to be carted away in ambulance after the county final, such as the stress of it all. So look, we'd love if it could be easier. I suppose it's probably more exciting for everyone else involved, and if it is tight, and I suppose it does give you that benefit of kind of eking out tight margins in tight games. I think that the experience that can't stand to you. So hopefully we can bring that into Sunday.
When were you handed the captaincy role?
It was 3 years ago, maybe. I was joint captain with Craig Diaz, and then last year would have been the first year that I was kind of captain on myself.
Yeah, and a big honour, I presume.
Oh, it's a massive honour. Like I've said it before, it'd probably be the greatest honour of my life, I'd say, to captain this team. Like, it's such a great team with so many phenomenal leaders, and to be the captain of the group is something that I'm massively proud of, and something that I'll probably cherish for the rest of my life.
And in terms of your own season, now maybe you had a niggle or something like that, but am I right in remembering, was it the game that you didn't start was the one against Coola, when both Mannion and Shane Walsh started?
I did start that game. Yeah, I kind of maybe suffered with injuries maybe in the Dublin Championship. I had hamstring and shoulder injuries, and in the lead up to that, I probably wasn't fully fit, and I hadn't trained enough to earn a starting place. And unfortunately for me, other lads were going very well, and I was placed on the bench for that game. And look, I had to accept that role today. Like, and there's been players last year, your Keane O'Connors and Shane Horns, who've taken on that role, and as hard as I was, I kind of had to take on that role that day. But I tried to work myself back into the team, and thankfully I have.
And obviously the fitness of Paul Mannion is something that's been talked about a lot. Do you expect him to feature in any way, shape or form?
Whatever I tell you, you probably won't believe it. The honest answer is I don't know. Like, he's running out of time. It's probably touch and go at this stage. whether he can play. We will give him every opportunity to play and do everything we can to play. It'll probably go right up to the wire to see if he can play any small part at all.
Yeah, very frustrating period for him between last year and this year, all the injuries.
Yeah, because I think prior to that, like Paul was any bulletproof injuries. He wouldn't have picked up too many injuries, despite all the football he played at inter-county and club level. And unfortunately, he's probably picked up two serious injuries that have kind of hampered him quite significantly, and hampered us quite significantly as well. And like it's kind of given him the opportunity maybe to put the coaching hat on. And I've seen kind of another side of Paul Mannion and the experience that he's had of working in top level environments with Jim Gavin and Desi Farrell, and you can kind of see that coming out in when he's kind of coaching and kind of giving tactical advice to players and lads. So although it's hugely frustrating for us and him, like there is benefits that he's kind of able to spread his time to other things that kind of reap rewards as well.
And do you see him hitting the ground running with as soon as he gets fit with Dublin this year and giving them an extra boost?
I suppose it is difficult, like as in physically, like as in he is in good shape, because I think he does an awful lot of work there to keep himself in shape. But it can be hard to come back in to the high level sport. Like it's kind of your ball and handling skills are kind of things that are kind of hard to keep going when you are injured. Like you can stay fit by doing other things other than running and like your gym stuff like that. But I think that there can't be too much pressure on Paul to come back in and shooting the lights out and be one of the best inter-county forwards in the game. I think it probably will take him a couple of games to kind of get back into a stride.
Unfair question now. Who's better, Paul or Shane Walsh?
Anyway, Mac, I'd say I'd have to be biased and say Mannion because he's a good friend of mine. But I'm open to correction depending on who wins something maybe over the next couple of months.
Yeah. How long did it take you to sort of build up a bit of an on-field relationship with Shane Walsh?
I think like for me, he's so good. Like he's as in playing an inside forward. Like he'll generally always kick the ball to inside when it's on. Like so, as in I think if you make hard runs from him, I think he can pick you out. So it kind of came naturally that I would see myself showing hard for the ball, and he does kind of kick the ball in when he can. So I think kind of thanks to Shane Walsh, the relationship kind of started well fairly quickly.
And another question I was going to ask you then was, God, I can't think of the question I was about to ask you, and I'm live as well, so that makes it ideal. But yeah, I mean, when you go back to last year as well, like, can you just paint the picture of the last few moments before Kilmacud got that goal and what you're seeing?
Kind of in extra time prior to them scoring the goal, or like?
Well, I'm just talking like the few moments leading up to the goal itself and what you were thinking as it was happening.
Yeah, but like I suppose in extra time as a whole, I think we had done massively well to wrestle back momentum, and like there was lads on the pitch who hadn't played much football throughout the year, so I think massive credit to them lads who kind of come on and wrestle back momentum. And then like we did concede a goal, and there was errors throughout the pitch that led to that. And at the time, yeah, it was I was on the bench at the time, and yeah, like it was just I suppose with disbelief, it was hard to watch what was happening and unfold, and it happened so quickly. And obviously the heartache afterwards was tough to take, but yeah, like at the same time, there's learnings to be taken from it, and it was analysed after, and there was learnings taken from it that were kind of hopefully we have trained, and hopefully we can execute them if needs be on Sunday.
Yeah, and sorry, the question I was going to ask you was, what's your memories of the last time Crokes won an All-Ireland Club final? I presume you were there.
Yeah, I was, yeah. I was kind of said it before, like the main memory I have is that it was Paddy's Day and we had school the next day. I think I was about 15 and I wanted to stay in the clubhouse, and my mum was dragging me home because I had school the next day. So that was probably the main memory. And then obviously I can remember being out on the pitch looking up at Johnny McGee lifting the trophy. I was with all my friends. I got into town as a 14, 15-year-old for the first time really on my own, kind of supporting Crokes, and it was a massive day. Like in kind of the previous 3-4 years, I would have been going down to Croke Park and to the Leinster games, and to see kind of Johnny lifting the trophy that day was something that I'll always remember.
And what sort of game are you expecting from Glen? I mean, just like yourselves, they look to have been winning at a canter and then a bit of a mini collapse and just barely got across the line.
Yeah, like Glen, like you don't need me to tell you how good the Glen are. And they've kind of, the last couple of years, they've been a really, really strong team, and they've competed well at Ulster. And like personnel-wise, they have a really, really good manager who's kind of been around the block at the county level and is very experienced at club level as well. They're kind of, the midfield is probably their standout players on paper. Like they're very strong midfield, and then like their backs. If I'm looking at the backs, 3 out of their 6 starting backs, I think it was, scored the last day. So like ourselves, they kind of have scores spread throughout the team. So I think that will probably lead to a fascinating battle on Sunday.
Yeah, and I suppose I'd like to finish off with a bit of a Q&A. Not that serious questions. You can answer them short or long as you like. What do you remember of your first time ever being at Croke Park?
I think it was 2001. I was with my Auntie Mary watching Galway v Armagh. I think went to extra time.
Okay. Your favourite player of all time?
Pork Joyce.
Who's been your toughest opponent and why?
Toughest opponent, I would say probably John Small. When I played him at club level, and I think everyone knows he's very physical and he's a good marker. He's good on the ball. He's aggressive, and he was playing in a very good Ballymun team as well. So as a whole, yeah, John Small. Yeah,
the team you most like to beat?
From like another GAA team.
Yeah, another GAA. It has to be Coola, surely.
Yeah, Coola or Ballymun, I suppose, our arch rivals. So yeah.
Yeah. Your proudest day playing GAA?
Probably when I lifted the county title last year for the first
time. Who's been the biggest influence on your career?
I'd say my dad. He kind of got me into GAA from a very young age, and he was a coach for the underage teams in Kilmacud as well. So I'd say my dad.
Your favourite stadium to play
in? Outside of Croke Park, probably Parnell Park. I think there's a good atmosphere there.
Yeah, there is indeed. What's been the biggest disappointment of your career? I think that's an obvious one, actually.
Yeah, I think that's an obvious one last February.
Yeah. Who's the joker on the Crokes panel?
Conor Casey.
Yeah. Okay. Who's the best trainer?
Jeff Kenny.
Jeff Kenny. And who's the best dressed and the worst dressed? And obviously, we need to get a little sample of what they'd be wearing.
Shane Horn is the worst dressed, without a shadow of a doubt. He loves turtlenecks and absolute mad colours. And then the best dressed, probably Tom Fox. He keeps it simple with a little tracksuit or something.
Yeah. Who loves the media attention?
Shane Walsh.
What player from another sport do you admire?
Roy Keane.
Okay. And what manager from another sport do you admire?
Another sport, probably Sir Alex Ferguson for his longevity.
Okay. Well, look, thanks very much, Shane, and best of luck on Sunday.